Hello my Beatles friends, welcome back to another video. As you see, I'm still in the car, I'm still traveling, and I'm having a very wonderful January-February trip. As you have seen in my last video, I was in Austria, in Obertauern and Radstadt. I was visiting the Beatles filming locations, since this year is going to be 60 years anniversary of Help album and also Rubber Soul, but we're going to talk about that later. And I'm also traveling other cities, so I don't have that time to sit and make a normal video in my living room, but to be honest, there are not so many things to show. And that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I've been watching recently some other YouTubers, Beatles collectors videos, for example, Mr. Mayo's, and he was referring to Paul McCartney releasing new version of Venus and Mars album, which is going to be 50 years old. So, I bought myself this one. That's a new music. And I've been listening to that a couple of times in my car, and I have to admit that I do like that album. But I have a question. I was wondering, still McCartney is releasing new version of Venus and Mars. I mean, I was watching in internet how many times the album was released in past 25 years. And I've noticed that in average, this album, Venus and Mars, was released every 3 to 5 years. There was a version released in 2004, 2007, 2011, 2014, 2017, and so on. When he switched to Capitol, he released again. Now Japanese CDs, now then it was Archive Collection, then it was now it's Double Speedmaster. So I was thinking to myself, what music we got in the past, let's say 4 years or maybe 3 years. I mean, from McCartney, we had in 2020 we had a new album that had 3-year anniversary reissue. Already it was reissued. Then we had Band on the Run released again under dubbed mix, which I passed on. What else McCartney released new? He released One Hand Clapping, which was worth buying, and Ringo released this in addition to his old EPs. So and also Harrison released Living in a Material World, which I also didn't buy, and he released All Things Must Pass. So why am I talking about that? Is because right now I was in a city, and I was in a store, and the box of Wildlife, the Archive Collection box Wildlife, was released a couple of years ago. It was released like in 2019, 2020, something like that. I didn't buy it, but that very box that was released that day and still stands in that shop 5-6 years later with the same sticker and the price. That stuff nobody buys. It's still there. And there is also a box of Tug of War and Pipes of Peace. 3 Archive Collection boxes there. So my question to you is, like Mr. Mayo said, that all the versions that he had, he already sold. Why would I want to buy another version of Venus and Mars, especially when I already have, released Archive Collection and there is no new music? And yeah, like me, Mr. May, I'm also selling all my Archive Collection issues. And in the past couple of years, let's say in past 4 years, the only new music from Beatles that I bought is Now and Then single, One Hand Clapping by Paul, and this Ringo album, including some EPs. Actually, there is no new music released. We have Mind Games from John. We have Living in a Material World from Harrison. We also have the 3-year anniversary of Paul of the McCartney 3 album, and that's it. Also, we have the Red and Blue albums by the Beatles, which is absolutely unnecessary and, I don't know, a stupid release, which I do not like. And the latest of what we got from the Beatles was Revolver. Also, the boxes, All Things Must Pass boxes. My local store, when it was released a couple of years ago, had 4 copies of the box. No, actually 5. One I bought is in my living room, and 4 were in the store. Till today, there is only 1 left. So which means during 3-4 years, they sold only 3 boxes. So maybe that's the reason why Paul McCartney is not releasing any more archive collections, because it's not commercially viable. Who knows? But sorry about that. But I have to admit that I'm a bit disappointed because there is no new music released, and I'm not buying anything new. Like I said, I bought only 3 items. Ringo's new music, One Hand Clapping because it's new and I like the movie, and Now and Then by the Beatles. The only thing that I bought, which I had, which I have already in my collection, but I still bought it, was the Record Store Day release last year in November, the single. I Want to Hold Your Hand, and I saw you standing there. So that's the only 4 new items that I bought last year. And I listened to Living in a Material World, which I didn't like, and I also passed on Mind Games, which I also didn't buy. I only bought Record Store Day a year ago in April, the EP of Mind Games. And that's it. So that makes me wonder why nothing comes from the Beatles, you know. We have Help and Rubber Soul. Both have 60 years anniversary this year. And when I was traveling in Austria, in Obertauern, there is a huge sign of Beatles 60 years anniversary, blah, blah, blah. So they celebrate. Why don't we get any new boxes from the Beatles? But I will answer my question. Myself, I will answer my question. In YouTube and also in Facebook, I've seen a couple of sample videos of Rubber Soul sessions, isolated vocals. So maybe they are starting to hint something. If you didn't see that, please check it out. Also on the Beatles channel in Facebook, there are short videos, like reels kind of thing, isolated vocals of the Rubber Soul sessions. Okay, so mostly I'm buying, original 60s stuff. And the last thing that I showed in my video, it was the Christmas album and also the Switzerland export Help. And that's about it. That's the last things that I bought. I'm not buying anything new at the moment. And when I try to follow the new releases, I have to admit that I'm a bit disappointed. So I bought that thing yesterday. And I've listened to this album a couple of times already. And I have to admit that I like it. I mean, yeah, it's a good album. I like this album. And what I also like about this one, if some of you haven't noticed, here is the Ringo signature with a star. This is a 90s type signature and very rare to find it original. He was signing that signature from 1992 till 1998, 1999, something like that, maybe early 2000s. But this is the rarest type of signature of Ringo. And if you have the original item signed by this type, it's the rarest one. So to be honest, I was surprised. I like the album, I like the songs, the performance, everything. So I'm not disappointed with this album. I really like this album. But I have to admit that I'm a bit disappointed from Paul McCartney because he hinted that he's working on a new album. There is no information about new album, but we're getting Venus and Mars again. Why? Okay? What have I missed from the past years? Red and Blue album, Now and Then by the Beatles, and that's it. And now it was released only the single, As Standing There, I Wanna Hold Your Hand. From Paul McCartney, we have Band on the Run, Underdubbed, McCartney 3 reissue, and One Hand Clapping. And now Venus and Mars. From George Harrison, we have Living in a Material World, and that's it. And Lennon, we have this giant box that actually won Grammy. Congratulations. And also Beatles won Grammy, worth mentioning. But still, I don't think that for a die-hard fans that's enough. Okay? So I'm not gonna buy anything new, because there is nothing to buy. Everything they're releasing I already have, or I'm not interested. And I have to admit that when they released the Revolver box, I only bought the CD version. I don't have the vinyl box version. So I only have the one single vinyl with a t-shirt that was released in Target with typo mistake. But I only bought it for the t-shirt. So I'm not even listening to the album. And the only thing that I also bought that was the American albums, the box set that was released, which I also didn't buy. I only bought the blue album of Meet the Beatles. But, you know, we don't need that. We have it already. So I just bought it because it's beautiful and it's blue, and it was released here in Germany as well. And I said, okay, I will buy. But tell me your opinion, guys. Is it enough for Beatles fans to keep us like that, to give us the same things all over again and without anything new? I'm a bit disappointed, actually. You know, that's why I don't follow the news. I only go and I buy the old stuff, the original stuff, because that's the interesting stuff. That's the interesting things. Okay, so these are my thoughts. You know, I've been driving a lot lately, and you know, I was thinking about myself. You know. To myself, you know. No, not about myself, to myself, yeah. So, yeah, and I've been listening to this album, and I really liked it. Okay? So, yeah. Peace and love, everybody. Let's make a nice thumbnail. Okay? So, these are my thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video, comment the video, tell me if I'm wrong, tell me what I'm right, what I missed, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later. Bye-bye.